Hello everybody, my name is Takriva and this is Sid Meier's Civilization 5, A Brave New World. It's finally here, the expansion, the long-awaited expansion for this game. To be frank, this is my most played game on Steam with over 350 hours by now. And that's without this new expansion that adds so much to the game. And yeah, we're going to do this first Let's Play, but a big problem for me is that some of you will definitely know this game like the back of your hand, and I know it mostly by the back of my hand. What I don't know are the tricks to be playing the computer against each other at the highest difficulty levels. So my playthrough will be on King, so don't worry, it will go up because we're doing multiple playthroughs, but not straight after another, but we'll do a lot of them because I really love this game. But on the other hand, some of you will not know anything about the game. Now, I will try and make a basics to Civilization video pretty soon, but I don't want to go into this Let's Play. Well, I don't want to wait for it, I really want to play. So, the first thing we're going to do in this episode is look at some of the new stuff that has been added to the expansion. And the most important thing that we're going to look at in this one is going to be the new civs, because we can only play one of the 9 new civs. Yes, there are 9 new civilizations, which add to a total of, I believe, 45. So there's a lot of nations to choose from to play this game. Now, there are things that we will pop up during the game, and then I will explain why they're new and how they're new. I will also say some stuff about the older mechanics and how we use those as well, because it will all come back in our game regardless. Now, stuff like trade will pop up really early. The culture changes to the game will also pop up to early to mid-game, but then the World Congress will be a lot later, as well as ideologies, and these are some of the most important changes in this expansion. And because the culture game is such a huge change in this particular one, I'm gonna go after Culture Victory with one of the new civs that's designed to be more culture, well, more attuned to the Culture Victory, I should say. Now, there are 9 new civs, and here's the entire list of civilization and all the leaders. There's only 1 leader per civ. This is new for Civ 5. Previous Civ games had different leaders for the same nation, like Abraham Lincoln for America and George Washington, and in this one you can only be George Washington. Where is he? Hey, he's just Washington. So yeah, here's George Washington, leader of the United States. But every leader has an ability they add to the country. So the new nations, and we'll start at the bottom of the list. The first one off is Venice. Venice is ruled by the most serene Doge Enrico Dandolo. And Venice is a really strange new civ, because their special ability, Serenissima, makes it that you cannot expand with settlers. You cannot make them, and you can also not annex any cities, but you can still puppet cities. How this works we might encounter in the game, we might not. It depends on how our playthrough will go. But basically you can either puppet a city or annex a city, and puppet means that you leave the city alone but they still belong to you. But instead they get the Merchant of Venice, and the Merchant of Venice allows you to purchase these special, well, it allows you to purchase city-states for free, well, for that person. And that's an insanely good ability, because Austria, added in the previous expansion, can also buy city-states, but they have to actually pay money for it. So that's a big difference. So you can just go all out on the merchants. They also get double the normal amount of trade routes. And trade routes we will definitely encounter, so those will come up. And they are the only civ that may purchase buildings and units in a puppeted city. That is to add to the fact that they can only have one actual city in Venice. This makes them really strong in the new trading game, which we will see later in our own game. And the next civilization is well, are the Zulu. And the Zulu are well known within Civilization as one of the most annoying, aggressive AI there is. And their abilities really work towards that. They have the ability, it's called Iklwa, and they're ruled by Shaka, and that he's always been the leader of the Zulu, at least in the Civ games. And basically his special ability means that melee units cost 50% less maintenance, which is huge in the beginning of the game. But also all units require 25% less experience to earn their next promotion. There are things in the game which give you experience, but there are also modifiers to give you more experience. But here you have a modifier that you need less to promote, so their units will become insanely strong. And added on top of that is their special barracks building, the Ikanda, which gives you even better promotions to give to your pre-gunpowder units. All in all, they will be a very strong Civ to play early aggression with, and the MP is a replacement of the pikeman, which basically it tries to kill its opponent before they even start the fight. So pretty strong. And I forgot to mention Venice's other special unit. It's the Great Galleys. It's basically an upgraded ship. It's an upgraded Galleys. It's better at attacking and defending, but it is more expensive. So third new Civ is the Shoshone, and they're a Native American tribe from around the Rocky Mountain area, Wyoming, like in the middle of the US, but then to the left of the middle basically. And they're really good at early game because their special ability basically, it gives you a huge swath of territory when you found a city, and a lot more than any other Civ, so they can build out their civilization really early and very aggressively as well. And they also get a combat bonus when fighting in their own territory. Basically, you get so much extra territory and you get really strong with them, so that's pretty good. And they have a cavalry replacement that is faster and cheaper to build, and they have probably the best unit addition in this expansion, the Pathfinder. It's an upgrade to the Scout, and you usually use a Scout at the beginning of the game to start exploring. What the Pathfinder does, it's as strong as a warrior, so it's like it has 3 more combat strength than the Scout and can easily survive barbarians. At least a warrior does that already, but yeah, now the Pathfinder can do that too. But their special ability they get is they can actually pick and choose what you get from a goodie hut. And the goodie huts are the ancient ruins from people before you even found your civilization that usually give you benefits like a free technology, and that's usually considered to be the best one to find. But with the Pathfinder, you can decide what you get from a goodie hut. Now this is also a very random ability, because sometimes you're in a map where there are no goodie huts nearby. Sometimes you get 6 within the first 20 turns. So it's a bit a swing and a miss for the Pathfinder, but it still makes it a really strong unit to start off with. The fourth civilization that's new, let me look up. Yeah, the Netherlands is in here as well. Personally, when I encounter the Netherlands in Civ 5, I start laughing because every leader speaks the language of that nation. And hearing my own language and the way it's used in Civ 5 is just hilarious to me. So, but the fourth new Civ is Portugal. And Portugal is strong when it comes to trading. And because they get twice as much gold for the diversity in their trade agreements. And the trade routes are based on diversity. We'll look at that in the game. You also get an upgraded Caravel, which gives free gold and XP once for that unit. So they will be very strong in the naval game. But most important is their Vaitoria. And this is basically a building they build in an other city-state. It's I think the only building that can be built in a different city-state and doesn't have to be in your own city. area territory. But it acts as a fort, but also gives Portugal a copy of the resource that city-state owns. And holy crap, is that powerful. But the only thing it demands is navigation as a prerequisite tech, and it needs to be a coastal tile. But damn, this is one of the strongest things. So you can really go for a trade-oriented civ with a lot of golden ages, and we'll see how those work later. Fifth civ on the list would be Poland. Poland is a second civ that's based around horse units. Or previously they added Mongolia, and the Mongolian horde is known for their horses and their horse archers, and Poland get the Winged Hussar, which is a quite strong upgrade to the Lancer, I believe it is, and here it is, the Lancer. It switches with places. It's faster and stronger than the Lancer, and it also can force the enemy back, so it's quite strong, but it's still only a Lancer, so it's mid-game good. And they're stable, basically, gives gold from every pasture, and it gives extra XP from mounted units, and normally you only get the XP bonuses from barracks and the upgrades to the barracks, or the buildings that follow the barracks, basically. So this is, you get a very strong horse army as Poland, and their power of Casimir III is solidarity. You get a free social policy when you advance to the next era, and there are, if I remember correctly, about 6 or 7 eras. Let's see if I can quickly look it up. The Ancient Era, the Classical Era, the Medieval Era, Renaissance, Industrial, Modern, Atomic, and Information. Probably the first one doesn't count, so you get 7 free social policies as Poland. And now we have to find civilizations again. So you get 7 free social policies. That's insanely big. But due to the changes to the culture game, it is not as important to actually win the game. So this is a way to, well, now it's possible to have such a strong special ability of a leader. And now we're going to the 6th civilization, which is Morocco. And Morocco is a desert powerhouse. So the special ability is they are really good at trade. They get a lot of bonus gold and culture for trading with others, but also those that trade with Morocco get a gold bonus. But their special unit, the Berber Cavalry, is basically stronger in the desert and in Morocco itself, and it gets a lot of bonuses that way. But most importantly is the Kasbah. So the Morocco really rocks the Kasbah, and it gives +1 food, +1 production, and +1 gold in a desert tile. And desert tiles, except for floodplains, oases, and oil the resource, except for those tiles which are usually sporadic, they don't give anything. A desert is neutral. Combine this with a certain wonder you can build. You can build a city in the middle of the desert, and it will still keep growing like mad. So it's really strong, and it uses a very undesirable terrain, so you can make a very dry world, and Morocco will excel regardless. Now our 7th civ, where are you? Yeah, I have to look in this list, of course. We still have 1, 2. I think I'm forgetting one. Oh no, here it is. Indonesia. Indonesia with Gajah Mada, at least I think how it's spelled, is a very diverse and interesting civ that also works with trading, because the first 3 cities they found on a different continent, because Indonesia is the nation of more than 17,000 islands, if I remember correctly. Something we Dutch have to learn in high school. because Indonesia was our colony as the Dutch. But so they have so many islands, so every city you build on a different island, you will get two unique luxury resources, and more important, that city can never be razed. So cities, when you take them, you can annex them or puppet them, as I said with Venice, but you can also raze a city. It basically destroys the city, and only the capital of each civilization cannot be razed. And for Indonesia, there are 4 cities that can never be razed, and that's quite powerful as a defensive tool. But next to that, they also have the Chris Swordsman. And after their first combat, it gets a random upgrade promotion. And it's very interesting and new and weird at the same time. Basically, you don't know what your unit will be good at. It might get a promotion to be stronger on flat terrain. It might get a promotion to be medic. It's completely random. And finally, there's the Candy, a building that will give faith and will actually give that faith depending on the diversity of the religion in your cities. Because, well, Indonesia is not really one religion. It has the largest population, if I'm correct, is Muslim. But after that, there are so many more religions. It's very diverse, and that's really flavor to look at that. Then there are 2 more civilizations. There's Assyria, another ancient civilization, and it's basically one of the first true civilizations in the world. And its leader, Ashurbanipal. It's like a predecessor of Hannibal or something, I have no idea. And he basically has an ability, whenever you conquer a city, you get free tech. And it's like, what? That's quite strong if you're playing an aggressive game. On the other hand, they only have 1 special unit, and to have a very aggressive game, you usually want 2 early units that really help you out. Now, the Siege Tower is their special unit. It's basically a strong siege unit that gets a bigger bonus if it's next to the city, and as it replaces the catapult usually fires from 2 spaces away. And apparently, this is not even a bombarding unit anymore. This is a siege unit that rides up to a city and start bashing. So it changes the way that Assyria will capture cities in the early game, which is quite interesting. And then they also have the Royal Library, and it replaces the regular library, and it gives, next to its normal bonus of 1 science per 2 citizens, it also has a slot for a great work of writing, and it gives extra XP if that work of writing is inside the library while you train your new units. So those are the new civilizations to Brave New World, all 9 of them. There are in total 45, and it's going to be fun playing. Oh wait, I forgot one, and it's the one that we'll be playing for this Let's Play. It's Brazil. Now, Brazil is the only one of the new nations that's really poised to take the culture route, because that's how its bonus works. So, first off, there's Brazilwood Camp, which is a special upgrade for the jungles. And it can only be built on a jungle, and it will give extra culture once acoustics is researched, but it also counts as a trading post in that it gives 2 gold. And so it can be built on jungle, requires machinery. So basically it's a trading post that also gives culture after a certain point. And as Brazil, you want culture. And their unique unit is the Praquinha. I'm not sure. I don't speak Portuguese, so it might be Pracinha. But it's basically a melee unit. Is it a melee unit? Oh, right. A gunpowder unit is always melee. That's why it reads so strange. But basically, when it defeats an enemy, they get bonus to golden age production, and you need happiness to start a golden age. And basically, Brazil wants to have many golden ages because when you vote for Pedro, yeah, that's Napoleon Dynamite reference. I think that works. Still haven't seen that movie. It's one of the few movies I really am like, after 10 minutes, like, I really don't like watching this. But maybe I should one day, especially when we're going to play as Pedro. And he has the carnival as a special ability. And basically means during a golden age, tourism output is 100% greater, and also the speed at which you gain great artists, musicians, and writers is 50% faster during a golden age. Now that was finally our ninth new civ and leader. So now we're going to go back into single player and set up the game. So we're going to pick Pedro. Where are you? At the P, of course. Here we are, Brazil. And here you always see a nice map when you pick a city or a nation, like the Shoshone, and they're located in this area, or around during that time of Chief Pocatello, they were located in that area, and that's how you. Yeah, it's extra information that's fun. Now, for map size, I want to play on a large map. I want to have a bit of a challenge with the way that the culture spreading goes, and having more opponents makes it a bit more difficult to keep it going. And we're putting it on King difficulty and the standard game pace. Now we're going into the advanced setup because I want to play with a few more than 10 civilizations on this map. And I do like to fiddle a little bit with this. So we're going to put it on 13 random civilizations. I'm going to try and go for a Gulcher victory. If I can win in a different way, I will also do that. Our map type, there are so many maps, and Pangaea is nice, but it also means there will be a very early World Council, and that's not what we want to have. So we're just going to do the Continents Plus. It's one of the more basic maps you can get. It's just multiple continents. So the game pace is standard. We start in the ancient era. The world age depends on how much the world has basically shrunk down due to erosion and stuff. So temperature is basically, do you want to have more ice? Do you want to have more desert? But on the other hand, rainfall also means if it's wetter, you will get more jungle if it's warm. If it's arid, you will get more desert, as I just said. But we'll leave those two in the normal standard setting. Now sea level we'll put on medium. It basically means it gives you a certain percentage of the world will be water and which will not. So I'll actually put it for low. So we have a lot more land, because we are using more civs than usual on a large map. And we still want to be expanding. And resources, it depends on how you want to play the game. Now, I do like to play with complete kills, which means that the units have to be killed, but we're going to turn that off for this Let's Play. And basically, these advanced options are basically to change the way you like to play the game. No barbarians is boring, no city raising can be annoying when the AI just builds a city on a really inconvenient location, right where you wanted to build it. So normally I would then, hey, you go away, and then you know what, I raise your city and build my own here. Give it 4 more city-states, so it's a bit more evened out with the amount of civilizations. And I'm gonna check once more. I mean, there's also small continents, which means there are more stuff. But basically the standard maps are usually the most fun. I don't like a map where it doesn't is a world, so it's more a flat map. I think the Japanese mainland, you play on Japan, which is pretty cool, but you only have Japan and you cannot go from west to east, I think. I know that for a fact is with, for instance, the eastern United States. You can't suddenly go from Texas to the west and then you're in the Atlantic Ocean already. That would just be weird. But when looking at these all, yeah, we're just going to stick with Continents Plus. And now we're going to add a couple of the new civs because we do want to see them in action. And we're not going to pick Assyria. I do like to see Morocco turn up. Because I do want to find out the trade, and this would make trade very interesting. I really want to see how Venice and Indonesia work by the AI, because of their very different mechanics, especially Venice. How will that look in the game as when the AI is playing it? We will eventually get around to our own Let's Play of Venice and be really interested. That will be a cool one. And if you're actually interested in seeing a Venice playthrough, go look on the channel of Quill18. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, and he also plays Civ a lot. And basically, he does know what he's doing most of the time, at least. And yeah, he started this game, this new expansion, as Venice. Now, I do not want to put the Zulus in there myself, nor Montezuma of the Aztecs. They're both people I do not like to see at all in this game. So we'll just put in Maria, and for myself, so we can just have a laugh at it, we'll put in William of the Netherlands. And these last 7 civs will be randomized. Now, this is basically going to be our setup. I'm going to quickly make a cut in this first part. This is basically going to be part 0 of this Let's Play, and it means that the next part will be the introduction of Brazil, the generation of the world during the introduction. So that's going to be it, and we'll see you very soon.